Welcome to Canine Code Puppy Class number 6. Today we will use our formula to take control of spaces. Remember, only give your puppy access to something they want when they didn't tell you to, beg for it, or take it. Now there are different levels of space in your house. There's the house, there's rooms, furniture, and personal space. In the situation where your dog is outside, perhaps in the back garden, can you see how suddenly access through the back door becomes very important? Funnily enough, as soon as the dog is indoors and we're looking out towards the street, it's suddenly very important for your dog to get out through the front door. Simply because it's important for your dog to get through that door, it is important that you regulate its access through it. So whenever you go through the back door or you go through the front door, then I encourage you to stop, tell your dog to stand back, and don't worry, I'll show you today how to do it, and wait until they are given permission to walk through the door. Whether you tell your dog to go through in front of you or after you or at the same time doesn't actually matter as much as it matters that you are telling them at all. Inside the house, which room do you think is most important to your dog? It's a bit of a trick question. Sure, the kitchen is important because there's food in it, the bedroom is important because your bed is in it, but invariably the room that's most important to your dog is the room that you are in. And of course, if you were living in military base, you wouldn't have the right and the privilege to follow your general around and enter the same room as them at the same time. So in your house, maintaining a naturally strict hierarchy with your dog, similar to that of a proper dog pack, you wouldn't allow your dog to follow you around in that manner either. Now, this doesn't mean that your dog can't have access to different spaces in your house. It just means that, for example, if you're nipping into your bedroom to put on a different pair of shoes, there is no need to allow your dog to come with you, and you can tell it to stop and stay in the hallway while you go in and change your shoes. One of my little favorite house rules is that the dogs aren't allowed in the kitchen if I'm in it. It's an open plan house, so at other times they can just walk freely through between the island and the kitchen bench. But once I've stepped onto those tiles, then the dogs are not allowed in. I will show you later exactly how to pull that through. If you're in a space, it could be the kitchen, and let's just say I've dropped a dollop of mayonnaise on the floor and now I know someone who'll clean that up for me. So I want to allow my puppy to come in and take it. Then absolutely I can invite them to come in, and then I can also kick them back out. It's more important that you are consistent around the rule that says whatever I say is the rule right now, than it is to create a dynamic where you've set up certain rules in your house that may never be questioned, to the point where it's habit and routine that makes the dog stay out of the kitchen. The bedroom is also important. It's kind of like the hall of the throne in the castle. Your bed is very important to your dog, unless it's a Labrador who'd rather be on the tiles. But for most dogs, they'd love to be up there and sharing the throne and the power with you. I know most dog trainers would say that your dog can't come in the bed with you. I'd say all we need to do is rely on our little formula. Only give your dog access to your bed when they didn't take it or ask for it or in any way initiate getting up into the bed. In fact, because the bed is such a big privilege, I introduce some stricter control already at the bedroom door and make my dog wait for a moment outside before I allow them in. And then they still can't go on the bed, not till I'm in it. And once I've organized myself, then I might allow them up in the foot end. And once I know I can trust them to respect my boundaries there, then I might allow them up for a cuddle. But then if I tell them to get back into the foot end or even down from the bed, they have to do it. If they won't, then they're not respecting the privileges I'm giving to them, and then I'll take them away. In regards to furniture, I'd say make rules that suits your lifestyle. If you are going to allow your dog access to the couch without your supervision, then I would kind of just let it go and let them jump on and off as they please, except if you are on the couch first. Wherever you've sat down before the dog, then you have technically taken possession of the couch, and then your dogs need an invitation to join you, which can only be given when they didn't ask for it. There's nothing technical about that process. It just means as your dog comes running up and trying to jump up, immediately I like to use the back of my arm, push them off, sit up straight, stop hand or stop finger. Remember, don't reach out, just up here, boom, ah. Then they try and jump up again, immediately off, ah. Then they try again, off, ah. It helps if you can sort of do the ah or stop already before they're jumping. If they're really not listening, either put them out in the sin bin or perhaps try a little squirt of water or a shake with your rattle tin. Remember your eyeballing. Hold it and hold it for an awkwardly long time. Right until, do you remember? Until your dog glances away and blinks. Then you can afford to sit back and relax, wait until your puppy walks away, perhaps even puts itself in its own bed, and then you could invite it over and invite it up on the couch. But even if your dog is already allowed on the couch, doesn't mean that they should be allowed to just walk onto your lap as if you're a cushion. Are you kidding me? Another dog would never allow that. So make sure that they've respected your personal space, and you can make a little bit of an exercise out of that. Just try when you're in your couch with your dog to push them away with the back of your arm, and then see how they keep coming back. And after a few times, they try sneaky little things like approaching you with their back to you and kind of just reaching out one little leg that just touches your thigh. Just notice how important it is for them to have the privilege of touching you, and to what degree they are unwilling to respect your boundary. It's interesting, and it's an alarm to say, hey, this is important for your dog. This is where you can gain big points by standing your ground. Now, I mentioned that the front door and the back door are the most important access points in your house, that the room you're in is the most important, and even how important it sometimes is for your dog to get into your personal space. Of course, the more important something is to your dog, the more status and power you gain from being the one who controls it. Just like if Godfather is dangling the keys to his Ferrari in one hand and an expensive suit in the other, it will be the Ferrari that gains the most willingness to please from the nephews, more so than the suit. Make house rules around access to the spaces in your house suitable for your lifestyle and your home. They should be an integral part of the routine, and they should make life easier for you. It could be stay out of the kitchen when you're in it. It could be sometimes come in the bedroom, or it can also be never come in the bedroom. It could be only giving access to the dog downstairs but never upstairs. It could be all sorts of things, and they should be helping you, not obstructing your day. It doesn't matter so much what the rules are. It just matters that they are there and that you made them. One of my absolute favorite commands is on your mat or on your bed, same thing. And that's because with on your mat, I can take my dog absolutely anywhere, and really, I don't care what it's doing as long as I know where it is, and that would be on its mat. I could take my dog to the beautician or to a friend's place, even to a barbecue, as long as I can rely on my dog staying on its mat when it's been commanded to do so. It makes life a lot easier. And it also makes your dog's life more exciting because it means you can take it with you just about anywhere. Good, so this is how I start. I use a treat and I put it at my puppy's lips in natural nose height so that she doesn't have to jump up to get it. I hold it nice and low and then I walk her over to her mat or bed or box, whatever it is. I say, on your mat, when she gets all 4 feet on it, and then I release the treat. Now I let her smell that I've got more in my hand before I get up into a focus command. Yes! And give her the treat. I'm going to let her smell that I've got more treat to offer before I go up in a second focus command. Remember to stand up straight. Yes! I give her a little bit of treat. I let her smell I've got more in my hand. Third focus command. Yes! Give her a treat. And this time, fourth time, I don't have any more treat. That's okay. And free! Good girl. Good. So now I've gotten her to stay in her bed for a while and shown her that if she does, she keeps getting treats. I'm going to build on that. Already, second or first time you do this, you won't have to put a treat on her nose to get her in a bed anymore. Just use your Magic Scout fingers, put them near her nose, lead her onto the bed. You don't have to do focus command anymore. Already you can just hold the treat at your sternum. Give her a little bit of treat. She's already expecting this routine, so I can fade out all the little details of focus. And in fact, she doesn't have to focus on me. It's absolutely fine that she's just in her bed. I don't want to make the command about anything else. Free! Now I'm going to take the next step, which is not giving her a treat straight away after coming onto the bed. She'll be expecting to get one, and that means that she'll be staying there for quite some time, insisting that a treat should come her way. So I use my Scout fingers on your bed. Stand up straight, put your hands up to your sternum. Don't give the treat straight away. And this time, instead of giving the treat in her mouth, I'm just going to put it on the bed. Because from now on, and if she gets off, just recommand back on. Don't give a treat straight away. From now on, I don't want her to think that the treats are going to come from my hand. I want her to know that the treats are going to come from the bed. I can put a little stop signal up. Be very careful that you don't do this, because that only encourages the dog to go forward towards your hand. Instead, stand up straight and keep your stop hand near your shoulder. Now you might have noticed that I intermittently use a stop finger or a stop hand. It doesn't really matter. The puppies seem to understand them both. I can also, if my bed is like this, an easy one, I can just throw the treat down there, and now she knows to expect me throwing them. Good. Now that she's staying nicely in the bed, I want to start training her towards staying in the bed even if I'm not actively giving the command. Because really, I want to be able to start walking away, making tea, dancing disco, doing yoga, all sorts of things while she stays in command. So I'll just affirm, stay there, and then I'm just going to start moving my feet on the spot. Don't walk away, just move your feet on the spot and give a treat. So you've basically said, even if I move my feet, you're still in command and you could still earn a treat. From here, I'm just going to build it up. So now I add a little more jazz hips and become a little more vigorous. That heightens the temptation for her to go somewhere else. Stop signal again. Now I add disco arms. And you can see how she goes, yeah, I don't really care what you're doing as long as there can be a treat at the end of it for me. Every time she looks up, boom, I just affirm, yep, you should still stay there. You won't have to affirm it like that constantly in the future, but for now, it's good to be clear. Good. I'm going to do a little pirouette. Oh, that was too much. Good. I won't reward her just now. I'll just do a bit of jazz hands and I'll do a faster pirouette so it's not as challenging. And now that she has performed perfectly, then she gets a treat. And free! Good girl. Good girl. At this point, don't keep your puppy on the mat for too long in one go. They actually learn more from following your command to get on the bed and get off the bed and on the bed and off the bed than they do from just constantly sitting on it getting treats. Next step is going to involve going away from the mat. So at this point, I lead her onto the mat, on your mat. Stand up straight, stop signal. Just going to start with a little bit of disco on the spot. She gets it, so I throw a treat when she looks up, stop hand. Then I'm going to take one step away from the mat and back. Now that didn't work out, so I lead her back on there. No need to punish, yeah? She's trying hard to do the right thing. There's nothing about that I should punish. I just correct her back on track. One little step back and forward. So whenever your puppy failed at something, or you as a team failed at something, when you go back to resuming the exercise, make it a little bit easier than when they failed. Otherwise, they'll just fail and fail and fail again. You need to go back to where you're succeeding before you can start progressing. So I'm just going to stay here at one step for now until I'm absolutely sure that Zelda understands that one step back does not mean going off the mat. So no reward for going back to where she should have been. Only reward after she has actually performed and done the right thing. So again, correct her, putting her back, but don't give her a reward until now when she's actually done what she should. I don't use my voice to praise her or reward her because a praising voice could sound like a release command. And I don't want to trick her into thinking that the exercise is over. Go back on the mat. Stay. Good girl, that's it. So since Zelda has a tendency to follow me off the mat, I'm just going to slow down a bit and I'm going to prolong the moment where I give the stay signal. I'm going to add on, boom, bit of an intense eye contact saying, don't come near me. Good. On your mat. Stop signal. Step back and forward and treat. There. Hold the moment. Back and forward and treat. Boom. Hold the moment. Don't rush. 2 steps back. Stand up straight as you go back to the mat. Because if you make the mistake of going away and then going, oh, good girl, you can see how you would easily encourage your puppy to come off the mat. So make sure that when you've been away from the mat, you stand up straight as you walk back, and then you reward straight down. Or, of course, you can also throw the treat. So when I'm walking towards her, pushing her back onto the mat, because the mat is only a very small spot, I do it very, very gently. Remember how I told you that you can't put your dog in a small space with an aggressive energy, or they'll get very scared of the small space. I certainly don't want her to be scared of the bed. So if she came off the mat when she shouldn't, sure, I might walk towards her to push her back on it, but very, very gently. If I throw the treat from here, I don't throw it like a bowling ball, because that could as well make her come towards me. Instead, I throw it with an upper hand. So I'm ready with a stop hand there because I knew she would look up to see, hey, what's going on? And it's so important that there's an answer. And free! Well done! Well done! Now, if you've got a Labrador or another extreme food lover, then I would encourage you to use a lower value treat for this exercise, perhaps just a little bit of dry kibble. Some dogs just get so overexcited about a good treat that they simply can't think straight. Because this is a calm exercise, it's important that your puppy is calm, and also, of course, that you're calm. If you find yourself getting a bit hyped up and rushing and no, stay, and you're suddenly being very assertive, take a break. Take a deep breath, feel your feet on the ground, and just remind yourself to slow down and exude the energy that you want your puppy to have. Now I promised to show you how to teach your puppy to stay out of the kitchen when you're in it. For that I use one of my favorite little tools, which I call the zombie shuffle. I simply slide my feet along the ground, walking straight into my puppy. And I don't lift my feet at all because I don't want to step down on her. Once she's outside the space and I like to go a little longer than just on the edge, then I take 2 big steps back into the space and then give a clear stop hand to stay there. Eyes switched on. Good. Then I can start moving around in my kitchen, doing different things that could tempt my puppy to come into the kitchen after all. I can't call them because I don't want to correct them for coming to their name, but I can absolutely tempt them in all sorts of ways to try and come in after all. I can even drop a squeaker on the ground, because no matter what happens in the kitchen, your dog should know that if it's been told to stay out, it has to keep staying out. Here I am. I'm such a klutz when I'm in the kitchen. I drop all sorts of things on the ground. I can, of course, invite her into the kitchen at any point if I want to. Oh, we're going to correct that because I didn't invite her. Take a step back, show the command. But as I was saying, if I want her to come in the kitchen, all I have to do is invite her. There's nothing technical about that. It's very much like the release command. Whee! And then, if I want her to get back out of the kitchen, come Out you go. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Take a couple of steps back and there we are. I mentioned before that stay in and stay out command is one of my favorite commands. The reason is it's much easier to use stay out of this area than it is to teach your dog not to jump on visitors, not to bother you while you're at the dining table, or not to bother you while you're on your yoga mat. In this case, I'm going to show you how to get your dog to stay back and let you greet your visitors first. You'll find that after you've greeted your visitor and the dog has had a moment to calm down outside the entry space of your house, but watching while you're greeting them, then they'll be much calmer and you'll probably get no jumping at all. I start off in my hallway with my dog, of course, and I'm just going to pretend that there's a visitor knocking on the door. If my dog comes running ahead of me, ready to see who's at the door, I'll just shift myself in between the door and my dog, and I'll use my zombie shuffle to get her back and out of the designated space. Now, you all have different houses and different designs around your entrance door. In this case, I'm using the edge of the mat as my boundary. You could also be using a door threshold if this door, for example, was open. Or if you have no walls, no doors, nothing at all, just put masking tape in a square around your front door at whatever size that you wish to reserve that space. So now that I've got Zelda sitting nicely and understanding that she has to stay back on the mat and isn't allowed to come further than that edge, then I'm going to up the temptation slightly for her to run forward. If at any point she breaks command, I shuffle her back on the mat. And you may have to do this much more boisterously, but I know that Zelda is quite sensitive and only very young, so I just do it very gently. There's no need for me to start shuffling boisterously or yelling, but if that's what you need to do, then go for it. Remember, you always want to correct with a lasting effect. And every time she has done something well, I can throw a treat into her space. Sit in. And when she looks up, I'm going to be ready with a stop signal. So she knows the command is still continuing. I make sure that I still hold up a hand so that when she looks up, she can see that the command still continues. Good. Back. Good. Here we go. I'm going to add the doorbell again. I'm even going to add some excited voice. Hello! Hi! Up. Step back. Stop signal. Hello! Hi! Hi! A bit of knocking, some sort of excitement. Hello, how are you? Won't you come in? And then, of course, once your visitor has come in, try to position yourself between them and your puppy so that you're still the gatekeeper. And here's a trick. The longer you stand here and greet your visitor, the more your puppy's adrenaline will go down and the less they'll jump when they finally walk into the room. Back. Remember, react instantly when your puppy breaks a command. Good, so we're talking along here, and now is a fantastic time to say to your visitor, I'm training my dog to let me greet you first. Would you mind avoiding giving my puppy eye contact and look at me instead? And don't be surprised if your visitor is still going, oh, so you want me to ignore your puppy? You'll just have to cut their eye contact off and make sure that they pay you attention, because them staring at your puppy will seem like an invitation to her to come forward. If you're staring at your puppy, they're going to be staring at your puppy. So try to make sure that the attention giving stays between the two of you. And once you've stayed here for a while and you can see your puppy has calmed down, then demonstratively, okay, won't you come in, make a gesture to show that this person is welcome in your house. And then you'll see your puppy will greet your visitor in a very different way. How? It's at the door. Oh, back. Back. Hello. Hi. Come on in. I'm just training my puppy to let me greet visitors first. So if you don't mind, just keep your attention on me and avoid eye contact with her, please.
Okay.
Good. Back. Stay. Good. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good.
Good. I might even give you a hug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cute puppy.
Yeah, isn't she lovely? But anyway, yeah, I'm just training her to stand back on the mat so she doesn't jump on you.
Okay.
Will you be scared of her if she jumps on you when you walk through?
Yeah.
Yeah, don't like that. Okay, we'll just stay here a little bit longer then.
Yeah.
And then she'll be all the more relaxed when we go inside.
Okay. Great.
I think she's fine now, actually. She's already lying down. We'll still avoid giving her any attention as we walk through.
Okay.
Okay, come on in.